Hey everybody, thanks for joining us for Politically Incorrect Knitters. I am Deplorable Knitter, this lovely lady is Ann Pinkova, and thanks for coming on like the 10-minute short notice that we gave you. Hey, cheers. Thanks for
Hey,
joining us. It's been a long day. Ann was busy. I was trying to not be sick.
you're in active dying mode.
So we're a little bit late. We're a little bit unhinged. It's fine. We're here. It's cool. And thanks for coming. So Ann Pinkova has our lovely sponsor yarn today.
Yes, we do. We are sponsored by Lynn of Chicken Lady Fiber Arts. You can go to chickenladyfiberarts.com and get 20% off your order with our code Meadowlark20PIK. And she has some really fantastic Halloween colorways. You'll want to go over and see those. But this is one of hers. Is There Room on That Broom? It's beautiful. It's her Americana 100% merino superwash base
Nice.
and is made in the USA. Very important. And yeah, go check out her stuff. She has all sorts of things. Yeah. Previous colorways include Sharks Hug with Their Mouths. Very pretty. She has, I'm trying to remember, she has one. It's a new one, but it's a lot of blues and grays with little red speckles. I think it's one of her new bird ones. It's just gorgeous.
Maybe.
I was
Um,
flipping through her stuff this week.
and I know you asked about the noise outside, and apparently they're getting rowdy. So I don't know if you need to
Oh, I'm sorry.
shut your window or something. I just thought I'd tell you.
Oh, window is
Um,
shut.
oh, they're just that rowdy.
Oh, yeah.
Nice. There's a party going on in Anstown today, so
Yes.
sorry guys for the frat boys. It sounds like frat boys yelling.
Probably a frat
Um,
boy feeling.
am I in a county with a constitutional sheriff? Yes, I
Sounds like a
am.
person question.
Um, I'm in a conservative county. We have a Republican sheriff, so my husband and I were just talking about him. He's not our favorite, but he's not horrible, so could be better, could be worse. He doesn't like all the bail stuff and everything, so that's the thing. Sorry, I totally went off the rails because I read that question. I apologize. Um, but yes, Chicken Lady is fabulous and wonderful, and she is our sponsor, and you can enter to win that yarn by commenting once this episode is done. And I think Ann just said that, but I'm sorry, guys, as somebody in the comments noticed, I'm still recovering. I am not nearly 100%, although I've been living like I'm 100%, which means that when Ann reminded me we were doing this tonight, I was already in my bed, but I did get out of it to come see you guys
Which is
because,
very kind of you and
y'all are
we.
my favorite. So it's good. Sorry. So, what you got going on over there?
Well, I finished my sweater.
Does that mean you're going to
So
show us?
I am, but also this is kind of okay. So before I show it completely, you remember this? It's the Oban sweater. It's lovely.
Hmm. I like it.
Um, okay, so you may recall that I only had so much of this yarn. And the yarn I thought was a little thick for a fingering, might work for a DK, but I did a little swatch and said, no, we're going to adjust everything in, and we're like, okay, it really is a fingering and the patterns for DK. So I'm going to go up some sizes. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do the other thing. I should have blocked my swatch. Who does that? Nerd move. We don't do that.
I never
Except,
do that.
yeah.
I never
Why?
swatch.
Why would anybody? Well, I swatched because I knew I was using goofy yarn, so I'm like, yeah,
Right.
make sure for
Right.
math. But it's like, no. I'm, who blocks their swatch?
Yeah.
Ridiculous, crazy. Yeah, and
Here,
I
Amy's got the truth right there.
watches
They
do
lie.
lie. They
True story.
lie, but more differently from lying, my math skills are especially poor. So it's like, oh, so you should do like a little experiment to see if your numbers will work out. And I'm like, this is meaningless. Even though I did the experiment, it's like, well, luckily I know how measurements work. You would think I would, but anyways, I'm hopeless. Anyways, all of that to say,
So I want to see this thing.
drum roll, please. It's huge. It is massive.
Does it fit? Like you can't wear it at all? It's just too big?
It's well, I actually haven't tried it on since when I first put it on, it was like a crop sweater. I'm like, yeah, it's
Mhm.
a little wide. That's weird. I thought, with all the ribs and cables and stuff, that would kind of suck it in. And
Mhm.
like, oh, that's kind of wacky. That's weird. And like, oh, it's a crop sweater if I had like a high-waisted skirt. But yeah, it
Oh,
is.
gee, that is a deep V
Yeah,
right there.
that
Oh,
is uh-huh.
that's a
Mm-hmm.
bummer, Anne.
Yeah, that's
Is it still cropped or is it like waist
it's
length now?
no, it's waist length now. No, it's still a normal thing. But yeah, I mean, I guess if I had like a patterned top that had like some embroidery detail, yeah, it's ridiculous. It's not.
Do you, he says I'm fat, give it to me.
Not this- Let me tell you, in order to make this work, I would have to have huge tracts of land. Let me tell you, we could like I don't. I maybe I'll figure out some way to style this. But yeah, the shoulders like they kind of
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sorry, Anne.
don't. Yeah,
Amy, don't make me laugh. I still cough a lot when I laugh.
I'm not sure what to do now. But yeah, so we will see what happens.
I don't know what that's about. I don't have a let me ruminate on it when my brain doesn't feel like mush,
Yeah,
okay? All right.
I know that one of the answers would be to make another one. Um, why?
This is not an answer for you?
That would work. Layer it. We could we
Oh,
could do this.
give it to Amy.
No, but really, it's before big old girl, big old girl.
Ah, there's some advice.
No,
Can you pick up stitches and fill in the V? That's what Texas Sheep Lady says.
yeah, but
I look like Winnie the Pooh with the crop top.
well, I could pick up the V, but also it's this lovely cable detail. Like the pattern written itself was fine. This is not a. I don't think this is a pattern issue. I think this is a math.
And going her own way.
Yeah,
Hmm. We've
but
come across that before.
yes, and yeah. So yeah, after all this time, after all of those fixed cables I did, look, they're all going the same way. They're all going the correct way. Now I fixed them all. I fixed every single one. And there she goes.
Hey, hold up your beautiful, beautiful sweater
Oh, I see. That's what I'm supposed to do.
with all the beautiful cables that you fixed.
Yes, look at all the beautiful cables I fixed. Want to see the backside? Want to see the backside of the sweater? Look, it's lovely. It's a beautiful, beautiful sweater with all the cables going the right way.
It is a beautiful sweater. Um, Amy wants to know if you can steek it and make it a cardigan.
You could. I won't, but it's a good idea. And the yarn is really sticky, so when you cut it, it would stay all in order too. And I do have a little bit of like a little ball of leftover yarn. So could work, could work. I mean, no, I won't, but again, I
Somebody
appreciate
else could if they chose
somebody.
to do that.
Yeah, and throw it in the corner mode. Wear it backwards. Brilliant.
I mean, if you had your longer hair and you wore it backwards, nobody would even know.
That I mean, that's true, it's like, "Oh, no, I meant it to be, the deep V-neck V back thing, like it's really sexy or something," and never be like, "You're wearing your sweater vest backwards. What's your problem?"
Well, I'm sorry that that happened with your sweater vest. It's lovely. It's a very nice knitting that you've done.
Mhm.
I even enjoy the orange color.
Yes. It's winter, I knit an orange sweater.
Hmm. You enjoy
Now
doing
that's
that.
done.
Hmm.
Now that's done with my
Yep.
yearly orange sweater knit.
Have you worked on anything else, or was that the disappointment of the week?
That was the disappointment of the week. I have worked on a couple other little things, but they haven't. Oh, I finished this one.
Nice.
Hey, look, you can see that big old yarn fault right in the middle, right there.
Hmm.
But yes, I finished this one. So let them
But that's
live.
not your fault.
Well, it is a little bit. I could have done that neater. But finish that for Let Them Live. I have a little tiny matching hat for it. So at least I can
Very
do
good.
something.
Yep.
But
Very
yeah,
good.
that was most of my week, cussing out that sweater.
I'm
And a couple other
sorry.
failed projects, but
Ugh,
I didn't get far. How about
that's the
you?
worst. Um, I didn't start knitting this week until yesterday because that's how poorly I was feeling. But I did go. I dragged myself to co-op because I wasn't contagious anymore,
Mhm,
and so yeah, I felt like crap. But I teach classes, and okay, so I teach knitting, and we're knitting those basic granny socks that I think everybody's grandma who knit or mom who knit made them at some point.
mhm.
Um, and so I'm working with the kids on that, and I didn't want to miss that. I have a helper in my knitting class, but she's not. She can like knit and purl and cast on and help the kids when they're having trouble, but she's not super advanced, so I
Mhm.
didn't feel like she could take the class. And then in my book club, we finished The Secret Adversary by Agatha Christie, and it was the final discussion. And I was like, I can't not go to the
Yeah.
discussion, right? So I dragged my butt to co-op, and while I was sitting there staring, I was like, you know what? I got some baby showers. So I started the sweater. It's called Autumn Leaves. It's a free pattern I found online. Um, this is the
Pretty.
all right, I hate doing this, but hey. So it's got this leaf pattern, and obviously like it needs to be blocked out to see it better. But it's the first time I've done lace that I've not made any mistakes while
Right.
knitting the lace. I didn't forget a yarn over. It's a fairly intuitive pattern, so like once you've done it, you're like, "Oh, okay, that's not an
Right.
issue." But it's just so pretty. And
Mhm.
so I've got two cousins that are having babies. One's having a girl, so she's gonna get this one. And then the other one's having a boy, so I'm gonna have to do something that's not this for the boy. But I'm using this chromatic spectrum from Hobby Lobby, and I really, really like it because it's a rainbow,
Mhm.
but it's blue. It's like
Right.
marled, so it's blue and then the rainbow goes through, and so it's fun, as you can see when it knits up better. But I just
Like,
I don't know. Like I love pink and purple and all that for girls, but I thought that that was fun and happy. Um, yeah. So that's what
ooh,
I started, and I would work on it now. But I think I'm supposed to split for sleeves. So not yet. Um, the pattern is called Autumn Leaves. I can't think of the lady who made it off the top of my head, but yeah, that's how I found it. It's free
nice.
online. Has a little link. Yay! And it was nice. So I was at co-op, and you know how when you're gonna make something, you kind of like will like kind of like flip through all your patterns and be like, I can make this, oh, I can make that, oh, I could, and you kind of get in that like decision paralysis thing.
Mhm.
Like, do you ever do that? I
Yeah.
often do that, which is a lot of times why I don't start projects. And one of my friends was sitting with me, and I said, "Hey, what do you think of this pair?" And she's like, "I think it's great." I said, "Look at my yarn I have." She goes, "It's so pretty." I said, "Okay, I'm gonna make it." I just needed like a cheerleader to be like,
Be like, this
Here.
is a good idea. You should do it.
Yeah. And then I started, I'm like, "You still think it's pretty?" She's like, "Yes." I'm like, "Okay, I'll keep going." Like, I just needed someone.
You just need someone to hold your hand sometimes.
Mhm,
Just be like,
mhm.
you should do this
Exactly.
right
So oh, back to my co-op because that's all I've done this week. The kids like my book club, which I'm surprised about because I've got 13, 12 to 15-year-olds in that class, okay? So I assumed that it was just gonna crash and burn. We read Agatha Christie, they didn't love it. We're starting a Sherlock Holmes book. But if you guys have any clean mystery suggestions, let me know because the kids are all like, "Oh, I love fantasy. I love this. I love that." But because we're in a Christian school program and they're younger teenagers and stuff, I have to be really careful about what we're reading. And I'm having some trouble finding stuff that's not like as old as Agatha Christie and stuff. So I figured I'd tell you guys if you have something that you've read that was clean, not super gory, that'd be super great. So that's all.
nice. Oh no, she's left me alone.
Sorry, sorry. Dreamhouse Kings series. Okay, I'll write it down. Thanks. But the kids are all like, "Oh, do a fantasy book series," and I'm like, "No. The point of this is that I'm picking out books that you guys wouldn't be like, oh, I'm gonna go read this anyway by myself,
Yeah,
and then we're trying to like, and then I'm teaching them how to discuss it
right.
and how to disagree with each other, which it's new for them. So,
Mhm.
you know, hey,
Hey,
Michael F. Kane,
clean
how's it
fantasy book.
going? Yeah, I was just talking about books, but unfortunately, I can't use yours because all the kids already read fantasy, and I'm trying to
You could
broaden
recommend.
their horizons.
You could
I could
recommend.
recommend them though. That is true. That is true. Um, I'm gonna write this. I'm writing down this Dream House Nights thing. Dream House Night. Okay.
As we said
So
before you came, Michael, clean mystery books for homeschooled teenagers between the age of 12 and 15, if you have any suggestions.
yeah, yeah. Because I mean, it was fun. We did a leaderboard. The kids like nobody had read the book, and so I said to all the kids, I'm like, look, let's read it together. Like, stay on track and all stay together. And we had a leaderboard, and like every kid got to pick who they thought the bad guy was. And it only took us a few weeks to read it, so that only went on for a few weeks. But the kids who picked it 2 weeks in a row, because that's how long our leaderboard went.
Mhm.
Um, and so a couple of the kids got full size candy bars
Nice.
for guessing right. Like I was trying to like make it fun for them because like I said, a lot of them are in that class because their parents were like, "Oh, they're reading Agatha Christie and Sherlock Holmes. I want you to read those. Go join this class." And they were like, "I don't want to be here." So now I give them candy bars and let them play Mafia,
Yeah,
and everybody has fun. It's a good day.
exactly. Read the book, discuss the book, have a good time.
But like I said, if anybody has any recommendations, just send them my way because they want me to keep doing it. So I must be going pretty well if they said, yes, let's do it again. So
Yeah.
thanks, friends. So that's why we have you guys. I'm like, I need help. Hey. Sorry. So,
Yeah. I I was the nerd kid who read Sherlock Holmes and other stuff without being prompted.
well, I have one student who is
I've
just,
never read The Secret Adversary though. I've read other
it was,
Agatha Christie, not that
it
one
was
though.
good. It wasn't fabulous. Like you think Agatha Christie, you think 10 Little Indians, and then there were none. Like
Mhm.
that book was like
ABC
awesome.
Murders. That was an awesome one. I really like that one.
Yeah, I
That's
don't
a
know, but hmm?
that's one of her Perot books, the ABC.
I've never read a Perot. Um, I've only read one Arthur Conan Doyle, So it's kind of fun for me too because I'm reading the stuff that I never wanted to back in the day.
Mhm.
But in the beginning, like the first week, like 6 of them were like, "I hate this book. This book is terrible." I'm like, "Cool, tell me why."
Right.
And they all went, "Uh."
See, one of my first recommendations would be like Jane Eyre. Jane Eyre is the best teenage book. I mean, it's fantastic for adults too, but it's like one of my
Mhm.
favorite books of all time. But you got dudes in your class, and they might be like, I don't know about the chick centered book. But also, Mr. Rochester is so cool. And spoiler, there's an insane woman in the attic. So, maybe that would pick up their interest later. I'd be
It
like,
may,
with the crazy
but
lady. Yeah.
they liked the whole like we're doing the mystery and we're doing the we're guessing who it is, and I mean, I gave the winners big candy bars, but I brought candy bars for everybody, little ones, because I'm like, come on, who doesn't want a candy bar? It's a good day. So,
If
but
you have
anyway,
to
it's
bribe
fine.
children to be the favorite teacher at homeschool co-op, so be it.
Dude, I already am the favorite teacher at homeschool co-op because I talk to them all like they're people.
Yeah.
And they're all worried about like presentations and stuff, and I'm like, nobody is listening to yours. They're all worried about theirs.
Mhm.
Like, I know you're worried, but they don't really care what you're doing. They'd be
Right.
like, "Really?" I'm like, "Yeah." Like, other kids don't sit there like, "Oh, what's your pre—" I said, "Do you sit there and do that?" And they're like, "Well, no." I'm like, "So why do you think they're doing it to you?" But
So
yeah,
basically, the premise is a book club, but you're teaching people skills.
I try to. I try to. We'll see. Teaching them how to talk to each other. I'm trying to get them to like get discussions, but it's hard to get that age group to discuss because they're 12 to 15. Like, you don't want to say the wrong thing because then everybody will know you said the wrong thing,
Mhm.
but we're working on it. It's cool. So, anyway, that's my story about co op. I didn't mean to go off on quite the rant, but hey, here I am. Um, so, Anne and I have been, I don't know, off the rails. It's been real busy here because we were so sick. And now we're not as sick, but life kept going. So now there's the whole catch up game. Um, so today I was mowing my lawn and painting my deck, and I was listening to some news, and I guess we could talk about the Dudes for Kamala
Oh my God.
video. Guys, friends in the comment, have you seen this video yet? Have you seen this absolute utter nonsense that the Kamala people have put out thinking that it was going to relate to guys, like actual guys?
I have never seen a man cross his legs tighter and then sit at a sideways angle like this. And I don't even see that appealing to gay men, honestly. I don't understand.
Oh, the the dude stuff is the most insane thing it is. This one. That dude who said he eats carburetors for breakfast, he must also eat them for lunch and dinner because he's not the kind of guy that I would expect to be. Well, I don't want to be rude because people, all different kinds of people do different things, but let me tell you, my husband
Maybe
is a
two
dude.
stops before carburetors.
Yeah. Um my husband is a dude that works on cars and does like manual work, and he's never had to say that he's a man. Like that whole this one showed that to my teenage son and he thought it was a joke. Yeah. The way that they just kept saying the stuff, it did really feel like a joke. It was very, very strange, the whole
And
thing.
it was very, I'm not afraid of women. I'm really not afraid of women. I'm really, really not afraid of women. And you're like, that's a
I
thanks
mean,
for all of us.
anytime you have to repeat something more than once or twice, I'm gonna go with you're trying to convince yourself and it's not actually something you believe.
Yeah. And
Just saying.
okay, speaking of classic books and stuff, that one of the lines in there was, it's like, I'm not afraid of young girls reading. Literally, no one is afraid of young girls reading except from people from
Oh,
religious backgrounds.
they
Um,
said that
but it's like,
girls can't read Little Women.
yeah, I'm not afraid of Little Women reading Little Women, or that one about the traveling pants. Literally nobody is banning those books. You know what they're banning? Graphic
Porn.
sexual depictions
They're
for,
they're they're banning porn in middle schools and in elementary schools,
yeah,
as it should be.
right. It's like, oh, you want to get rid of Little Women, you book banner. And I'm like, that is not even on the spectrum of
No,
banning. Though
I
they
mean
would
it.
probably stay
They
a
may
little
want to ban
close.
it. They may want to ban it because it may have some inappropriate words or themes in there that, now that we're so woke, would be offensive to people.
Yes,
There is that.
the thing is that Louisa May Alcott was a great feminist in which she wanted things like, women to vote. And in
Hmm.
her book for girls was this thing where they were each given a New Testament for Christmas. And the eldest sister determined that they should each read that she would read a chapter every day, and the younger sisters agreed to join her in this. So
Hmm.
it was some radical stuff that you might want to keep out of the hands of, impressionable young children today.
Yeah. Sorry, I keep freaking out. There's one fly apparently in my house, and it's on my face while we're doing this, so I apologize.
Right?
If
You
I'm
don't have
having a spasm
nervous.
over here.
You got the monkey on your back. A little bit of a
No, the whole. I don't know. But yeah, no, no man I've ever seen has ever had to tell me that he's a man for me to know that he's a man.
that's right.
I'm just saying. And the whole.
No man that I've ever seen has ever cried during Predator.
Dude, Love Actually is my favorite movie, and they brought that up. I don't think I've ever cried during Love Actually. So, I mean, like, if you're watching a movie that calls for crying, go for it. But the stuff that you're bringing up is just bullshit. It's just,
It's
apparently, if you went on that video and you went to like the comments, like all the people praising it were like liberal women. And then the rest of us who have brains were like, is this parody? Is this like people thought it was SNL and like all kinds of stuff. Um, yeah, it says Love Actually isn't a sad movie. Like yeah, yeah, it's not sad, but
well,
freaking nonsense.
it's a fantasy premise ad. It is fantasy premise after fantasy premise. I'm not afraid of women because Republicans are afraid of women. And they're afraid of women reading, and they're afraid of women's bodies, and they're afraid of women having kids or not having kids. And that is the flip. That is the flip every time. So if you live in a fantasy world in which you think Republicans are so evil that it needs to be said that you're not afraid of women, that's the only way it works. That's the only way that you'd be like, yeah, these dudes who aren't afraid to vote for a woman because the other guy is a woman hater, and the whole turning over a new leaf with Kamala. She is a horrible person. She has always been a horrible person, and she's continuing horrible policies from horrible people continually. And it's like, oh, but she's new. She's turning over a new leaf. What's the new leaf? She's just going to do the same thing. The new leaf is she is just a smiling woman. And isn't it time that a smiling woman, cackling woman, yes, a smiling woman filled with joy and happiness is in charge? It only works on the same people who think that remake with a black woman means that it's better. That's the
Yeah,
only way it works.
yeah. No, and you can tell that like men didn't make it and they weren't consulted, and or if they were, the soy boy nonsense, but I don't know. So, I heard something interesting today because I was catching up on my stuff, and it was talking about how they felt like Kamala may have picked Tim Walz because he has very good communication skills. And so the plan had been for him. I know, I see your face. I know. But
I want to hear this though. I want to hear this though.
but they feel like the plan had been for him to do more out in the public eye than he is because she's so terrible and he's apparently better with the media. And I think that he is okay with the media when nobody is asking him to, fact check himself, like the
Mhm.
Tiananmen Square thing or his rank or the different things. But I've like they went through and they played a whole bunch of clips of him talking about how he was in Tiananmen Square, and he sounded super great and confident while he was talking about it. So my guess is that the only reason, I mean, he's a disaster anyway, but I think that he's a bigger disaster because now he can't just go out there and be passionate. And that was the thing that they were saying. They were like, so you can be passionate when you speak, but that doesn't mean that you just straight up lie.
Mhm.
Like there's a difference between like being heated in the moment. I'm sure we've said stuff on here when we're really going that we mean, but it doesn't come out the way we mean it. You
Right.
know what I mean? But that's not the same as being like, yes, I was in Tiananmen Square and saying it dozens of times and having clips of you saying it dozens of times and being like, oh, I misspoke. No, that's a lie. That's what we
Well,
call lying.
and I think, okay, so before he was nominated as vice president, like, or not nominated as vice presidential candidate, whatever, in like about the month beforehand, there was a video of him and he was in a baseball cap and like a plain t-shirt and he was going off about, and he didn't look like a governor. He looked like just a dude, and he was going off about how awful the Republicans were, and it was this whole thing. And I wonder, okay, I didn't listen to the whole thing, but I did see
Hmm.
a little bit of buzz around it among Democrats. Democrats thought it was great. They thought this
Hmm.
was fantastic. And I kind of wonder if that was like, oh, well, you know, they said they
He
did
looks like
have
a
some
regular
problems.
guy.
Yeah, they did have a problem finding a candidate that would go with Kamala. So if that wasn't kind of his audition tape in a way, and they're like, yeah, he's really passionate and he's really together, and a bunch of Democrats were like, yeah, that guy, and then he comes out it's like, oh no,
Hmm.
oh no, no, no. I mean, there
Yeah.
was kind of the fear in his eyes when he was on the vice presidential debate stage, like,
Dude, he was Elmer Fudd.
yeah.
He looked like Elmer Fudd. Just was what it was.
But yeah, now he's coming out on stage, hips swaying, just ready to talk about important policies. Uh,
I don't know. I don't know if that's true or not, but I just thought it was interesting because it makes sense to an extent that they would have tried to pick somebody who can talk to people and command a crowd and stuff because Kamala is a dumpster fire. Her teleprompter goes out and she just keeps saying the same thing over and over because she can't just have a conversation with people.
Kind of
Dude,
Obama like that way.
did you see her on the Univision uh, town hall? You didn't? Okay.
A
So,
little. I
friend,
saw a little bit of her on it, and she was, just reading the teleprompter and stuff. I didn't
right,
see.
right. Well, they said she didn't have a teleprompter, but then the camera pans around behind her and you can see her reading the thing. But how freaking offensive is it that she put on a fake, like Spanish accent? Like, what is wrong inside of her brain that she can't just be herself? I mean, are you so insecure or so unhappy or so you have no thoughts? You cannot be yourself. You cannot just talk the way you talk. You have to, uh, I don't know. It's just weird.
It is. It's some insane stuff. Did you see, it was a clip of, Tim Walz and second dude Doug, and they were at this coffee shop, and they smiled, and they took the orders for coffee, and they walked away from the counter, and somebody had to walk up and say, "Oh, the aide with the credit card is gonna come around to pay." They didn't even, like, they didn't pay, they didn't do nothing, they just smiled, took the coffee, and walked.
It's so weird.
They didn't even
Uh,
do, they didn't even tip well. There was no payment to then tip with. The aide had to come by and do it.
that's ridiculous. Um, Kamala's husband is freaking fly. Why is there one fly in my house? It's October.
It's the Mike
I
Pence
live in New
fly.
York. It should be dead. Um, but what was I going to tell you? The fly has thrown me off my game. Oh, Joe Scarborough is having um, Doug on next week, and he was like, "Oh yeah, so there's this thing going around, and can you believe that the MAGA people are spreading this tabloid report?" Excuse me? I'm pretty sure that when something has been corroborated by like three witnesses or something, that's a little bit different than a tabloid report. A tabloid report would be like, "Oh, hey, did you see Ann Pinkova out today driving like a chick over the center line and nobody saw you doing it?" Like, that's a
Don't
tabloid
call me
report.
out like this, even though
If
you didn't see me.
if I saw you and my whole family saw you and we said, "Oh yeah, we saw Ann Pinkova doing that," that's not so
I
much a
only had
tabloid
occurred
story.
once this week, so if we could just like chill on the rhetoric, that
But
would.
you know what I mean. You get my point. The whole it's not just oh, somebody's trying to smear him or no, there's like credible witnesses who saw this. And I mean, yeah, Morning Joe is a piece of shit anyway, but like they have these
And
opportunities
also,
to
it
really talk to people and they just kind of like, "Oh, hey, that's lame, isn't it?" you know?
also dismiss it as tabloid. Oh, that's just tabloid, as if the mainstream news media has ever dismissed tabloid stuff. Like, oh, we're above that.
Yeah.
We're, yeah.
Yeah, Trump had some locker room talk and nobody can let it go for the rest of their life, but Doug Emhoff beats his girlfriend in front of witnesses and we're going to pretend it didn't happen. It
Mhm.
makes sense to me.
Male
Yeah.
feminist Doug Emhoff.
Oh my god. Yeah. And
Yeah.
the story I
See the skeletons again with the original Men for Kamala ad. It's like, I want to see those skeletons in those closets, especially weird sitting guy. That guy, scary.
I mean they're all paid actors obviously and I'm sure that I don't know. I don't know. I'm not going to say anything about them because I don't know who they are. I swear to God, I'm going to freaking light this fly on fire if I can catch it. So, yeah, that happened.
Amy in the comments says, "Do you see Waltz with a gun? Just about as convincing with as Waltz with a car."
No, I
And
didn't see
also,
it.
pheasant season. I don't quite know what it is in Minnesota. It is next week in South Dakota, the superior pheasant hunting state in which Dick Cheney shot a man in the face.
Nice.
It's important to know your hunting states.
Okay. So he was apparently going to go pheasant hunting or
Yes.
pretend that he wanted to or something.
Mhm. Looking even more Elmer Fudd. Yes.
God. Is it possible to look more Elmer Fudd than he did at the last thing?
No, no, now he has the get up too. It helps.
Oh my God. Really? A Texas Chief Lady asked if he shot his foot. I don't know. Was
Just
he looking like he was going to
metaphorically,
shoot
not
his foot?
physically.
What?
Just metaphorically, not physically.
Yeah. So, sorry. I'm fighting with the fly. Um, he did not, but he clearly doesn't know guns. Yeah. But how are you in the National Guard for 24 years and not know about guns? Like, isn't that part of the deal? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
what was that, Anne? Have I missed some conspiracy theory?
Oh, not conspiracy theory, but I mean, he was never deployed.
Right,
Um,
but don't they still train?
yeah,
I mean, they're supposed to still train, right?
they're supposed to still train, and it's not
Okay.
as if the guard doesn't do important things, but also the rest of the branches talk crap about it. I'm just saying.
Okay. Good to know. I don't know what you said. Go out. Go.
Yeah.
So, I'm sorry, I'm a little bit off my game today. I apologize, friends.
Right.
Um, we're losing TK.
Well,
Yeah, it's,
we are nearly at the 45-minute mark. So,
I mean, not that this is a woe is me thing, but I had COVID. I had it kind of bad. I'm not gonna, run out and cry and make everybody test, but also it has made me very, very tired the past few days. That's okay. It will get better. Um, and I listened to all the news, like all the news today because I've been so behind. I was like catching up on my podcasts. And I don't know that much, unfortunately. I'm told that many don't. Oh, this is interesting. I'm told that many don't touch weapons after basic training. It depends on their job. I mean, that would make sense. But he was a sergeant of a troop of people who were going to war. Like, it feels like they would have had guns. But I could be wrong because I've never been in the military, so I don't know. So, they fly helicopters. Yes, I am not dead, and I have not had the jab or 11 boosters, and I'm still good. I've been taking zinc. It doesn't help, but maybe it does. Um, anyway, I
anyways,
am losing the plot here. Um, so, what other things do we have to talk about? Is there any other news that we haven't? I mean, there's the election. Dude, my tech editor is in. She's near Augusta, Georgia, and she just got her electric back on like 4 days ago.
yeah,
And
the gal who I've been following, I think I mentioned her last time that she lives in East Asheville, and
mhm,
she just got power on today, so it's like 14-day without.
yeah, well, my friend was okay. So this is it. My tech editor. She texts me the minute she gets her electricity back on and they have enough cell service, so that she can ask me how my father-in-law is because he lives on the Gulf side of Florida and the Milton hit pretty much right where he lives, and just kills me. She's been out without power, they don't have anything going on, it's been terrible, and she's like, "Hey, how's your dad? Is he okay? Is he evacuating?" But, I mean, I don't know. I've been listening to a lot of stuff about climate change, and do you know when the last time we had hurricanes like these was? Do you know?
No,
Yeah, 1921. Do you know what the carbon emissions were back then? Like
not much.
95% less than they are now, and they still had them. And then before that, do you know when they had hurricanes like this? It was in 1848. So I'm just so tired of these people trying to push their agenda. Uh, I don't know.
Or that it's like anything special about these hurricanes. It's like bad hurricanes happen. They do. They suck, but
Mhm.
they're bad.
And they go in spurts. I mean, Milton was really bad, and it wasn't as bad when it made landfall, but they had like 135 tornado warnings across Florida, which you don't usually see with them. Somebody says geoengineering. I mean, my husband and I have been talking a lot about whether or not they can control the weather. I know that they don't control the weather per se. I know that they can do things to turn hurricanes. I was reading a article about somebody who was part of Operation Cumulus. And they were talking about like how they would seed it with like silver oxide and stuff to see what happens. So, I mean, they've been doing stuff to the weather for a long time.
I mean,
But
like you can do cloud seeding and stuff, but
mhm,
also a lot of this is BS. Like a lot of the talk is BS.
yeah. No, I don't think that they can control it the way people say, but I do think that they can um like steer it, or they can, like, the whole seeding the clouds was to see if they could get the hurricane to like come down sooner. But anyway, my point was is that I'm so sick of all these climate change people's, oh, these horrible uh hurricanes. We've never seen anything like it. Well, we saw it 100 years ago. And then we saw it 50 years before that, or 60 years before that. So I just don't think we've been keeping records long enough, and I think that this is kind of ridiculous. But it's just my random rant about that. I apparently should not be on because I don't even think I'm making sense. Um,
I'm great.
so I'm willing to bet they can make it worse. The government excels at that. I mean,
I mean,
that's not completely inaccurate, I would say. Not saying allegedly.
no, I Marjorie Taylor Greene is back on the space lasers. She used to be like, nah, I used to believe in space lasers. I don't. Now I'm for it. I'm like, please, the alphabet agency that is putting the the LSD in her coffee, please stop. Okay, I know you're having
Yeah,
fun here, but you
yeah.
need to.
I
And speaking
mean,
of, I only accept Jewish made space lasers. Okay, I don't trust anyone else to have the quality.
I don't
All right.
understand why there are Jewish space lasers. I know that's a thing people talk about, but I'm
No,
confused.
it's been like a wacko conspiracy, at least a 10-year-old one, and it's my favorite one. But it's like any of the space lasers. And I'm like, okay, buddy, just okay.
Yeah. I
And the
mean,
dolphins, the Jewish controlled dolphins. That sorry, again, that is another old conspiracy thing, but that was the Iranian government that said the dolphins were killing people and the Jews were making them do it. And it,
I
it
was gonna ask why that would be a thing, and I guess
it was great. It was great. It's sorry. It makes me laugh every time.
yeah, the penguins are stopping us from learning the Earth is flat. Why?
Mhm.
What? I am not far enough in the conspiracy hole, apparently, because I don't. What? Oh my gosh,
Yeah, it's there's
I'm confused.
don't trust everything you read on the internet, kids.
No, no, but I was looking. I mean, I was looking into the big hurricanes because they talk about this stuff, and my husband, who is a scientist and has studied science his whole life, was like, they haven't been recording. They say, oh, in recorded history, but when you look back at recorded history is only like 100, 150 years ago. That doesn't mean shit. The world is much older than that, and to think that we have changed it that much is ridiculous. The stuff I was looking at was actually saying that they think that some of the worst hurricanes were during the Revolutionary War, which were no carbon emissions practically from people. So, like, get over it, move on. Anyway, I think climate change is stupid. There you
It
go.
is. Agreed. I'm sure we'll get the YouTube bubble.
I know. I was just thinking that too. All right. So we're devolving quickly, and I'm very tired. So I'm going to go put myself back in my bed that I got out of because Anne said, hey, we were supposed to record. Um,
I'm sorry I
and
was
thanks
sad.
all you guys for joining us while we did this. Thanks, Anne.
Yeah, thank you.
And sorry, I'm a little bit confused. And don't forget to enter to win. Is there room on the broom from
The
Sheep Lady? From Chicken Lady.
Chicken Lady colorways. Check out her colorways. They're beautiful. This month's code Meadowlark20 PIK for 20% off your order. And also, we have an upcoming event.
Yeah, we got something that's in the works. And it's gonna be fun. And it's gonna be too involved because Anne's in charge, but it's gonna be super fun.
It's not gonna be too involved, okay? It's gonna
No, it's
be
gonna work with everything that all of our friends have going on, so it's gonna be great.
exactly. It's something that'll play well with others and play well with projects you already have going on,
Hmm.
but it'll be fun. There'll be giveaways. We'll have a
Hmm.
grand old time.
We will have a grand old time. And so we're gonna let you guys know about that really soon once we have our business meeting. My whole, getting COVID and being out for over a week really put a damper on some stuff. But we're getting back to it now, so we're gonna get that to you quick. And yeah, that's what we know. So thanks for joining us. We'll see you guys next time. All right,
You
bye.
boy.